This conference will now be recorded.
Well, Doug, super excited to be able to have you on the podcast. I know this is something we've been talking about for a little while, and FIVO Group Sales Month has gotten off to a great start. So, for people that don't know you, who are you?
Well, Brett, thank you for having me. Really, really appreciate the time here. I am the executive vice president of partner success at FIVO. Been with FIVO now for almost 3 years, helping share best practices with our partners, really give marketing, sales, operations, finance an overview of what FIVO does, how we do it, how we can help them grow sales, but really get people understanding how to use the product, how to make sure that they collect more data, get more sales. Before that, I was at the Boston Bruins in TD Garden, headed up the sales team there for groups, seasons, also kind of the college events, so the Bean Pot and Hockey East, concerts, some of the Celtics premium, just because the Garden is owned by the same ownership group as the Bruins. Did that for a year. Before that, was at the Yankees for 4.5 years. Inside sales, group sales, luxury suite sales.
So, tell us a little bit. So, I definitely want to make sure I connect between some of your experiences and what you're doing now. So, if you could, for those people that may be living underneath a rock, what is FIVO and how does it help teams sell tickets?
Love that question. FIVO is a sales growth tool that makes the purchase experience for consumers quick, easy, works on your phone, works on any device, any browser, and prompts people to share with their friends, family, coworkers, gets the word out that they're coming out to the event, personalizes it, makes it all about the people that they're coming out to the event with. So we see a ton of growth in sales, turning your fans into ticket sellers and marketers, making some money for the teams and schools that we work with while they sleep.
Yeah. So, what gap, having been on the team side and then getting a chance to start working with FIVO, what was the gap that you saw and the leaders at FIVO saw between what the group sales product was and what the group sales product could be? Because this was a pretty big innovation in the group sales space.
I think the big thing that I started to hear on phones, and I'm sure this will resonate with reps, managers, directors, VPs alike, is that people don't want to front all the money for their friends, for the groups or associations that they're a part of. They want to be able to come out to events together. They want to have experiences. This is obviously an experiential economy. Experiences are valued more than objects for the most part, especially with the millennial and the younger crowd. So we saw that a lot of people were saying, I can't front the money for the 50 or 100 tickets anymore. What can you do for me? And some teams will keep seats on reserve and hold them until a month out or a week out. But always those buyers come back with less tickets sold than the group rep would want or the team would like. So you're dropping or dumping a lot of inventory last minute. And I think from the data collection standpoint, you only had your one contact. And when that contact's son graduates from scouts or leaves the school that does a big fundraiser, or when they retire from the association they're a part of, you don't have the contact information or an internal champion anymore. So I think it was kind of two things. One, people didn't get paid back by their friends or their association enough times. And two, the group rep really didn't have who all was coming out to the event. So it was a nice way to marry the two together. You're getting the data on who all is coming out to the event from the group side of things. You're turning everybody into a group seller and marketer because no longer is Brett chasing down Doug for money or kind of begging me to take two tickets. You're saying, hey, I bought my two tickets. We're putting together this group night. I'm able to buy my 2 tickets, share with friends. I'm going to get my friends, family, coworkers out. Now they're going to buy. Not only are you getting the data on who all is coming out to the event, but who the real mobilizers are, the movers and shakers in a group. Where Brett might have been that contact for the scouts, it turns out that Doug is bringing out 50 people to this event. He's your real group leader or future potential season ticket holder.
Yeah, absolutely. The data side is huge, and I'm sure I've gotten this question about why I'm such a big FIVO fan. So I'm sure you've gotten it multiple times. But can you explain quickly how you guys just aren't a sexier group link?
I definitely think that's one of the ways that you can see FIVO for sure. I think with a promo code link in the past, if everybody's buying 2 tickets at the same price, as a rep prioritizing your day, and I know you've done some great work on how people should be prioritizing their day with percentages or breakout by time, but you arbitrarily start calling people. Maybe because I'm Doug, I start with the D's, or maybe because my brother's John, I called the Johns on the list. But there's no way to know like who I should be calling first. So
Yeah.
with those links, you're now able to see Doug bought, he invited Brett. Brett brought out 20 people. I'm going to call Brett first. Within Brett's group is Josh. Josh brought out 5 people. I'm going to call him second. Maybe some of the people you invited that don't bring extra friends, they get an email or a call later. But now you have prioritized scored data to reach out to those people. I think the second thing is really the steps or hurdles it takes to buy a ticket. So right now, it doesn't matter the ticketing system. If you try to buy a ticket, you're likely going to go through 10 to 15 clicks. You're going to redirect. It's not going to be on brand to the group or association you work with. It may not be mobile optimized or work for your phone. It may not work for Internet Explorer or Google Chrome. None of those problems exist on FIVO. Doesn't matter the browser, doesn't matter the device. It's going to work and be a seamless 2-click process. No creating an account, no remembering a password. So making it a 2-click process, 1 click to share, where you really make it easy to buy, easy to share. It makes it, to your point, a little bit sexier than just, hey, you had to go through this experience that was a little bit lonely and with a lot of clicks. Now you've got, here are all the people going out to the event. Here are all the friends that you know. Make it a little bit more of a fun experience, quick and easy.
And I don't. First of all, that's 100% correct. And second, the sexiness matters too, though. I know I said it a little sarcastically, but can you talk about how and this isn't just FIVO, but how groups like yourself and other people that we won't name, how that sexiness matters, making that look and feel of it helps elevate people and want to become part of the group, because that's part of something you talk about all the time. Like even when it was just a group link, a lot of times it's the sexier it looks, the better it's promoted, the more people that are likely to do it. Am I crazy, or has that played a huge part in why you guys specifically have been so successful?
It's played a huge role. People care a lot about how things look. The iPhone is really, really good looking and everybody loves it. And same thing with, jerseys that are popular and sell well. If it doesn't look good, it's not going to take off. That's why certain shoe companies haven't been able to displace Jordans or Nikes. I think with this, you've got one, that branding customization. We can layer in the logos and images, YouTube and Vimeo videos of the group you're working with. So for once, it really is about the group you're working with. I think number two, the fact that we can live native to the partner's website or the actual team's website allows for people to have that extra element of trust. Oh, what's this sleek thing that I clicked buy tickets? I'm not redirected. It looks nice. It works on my phone. It works on the computer, but it has nice coloring that's on brand to the team or to the organization. So maybe the Alzheimer's Association is doing a group night. it's going to be their purple that's on it, or it's going to be breast cancer awareness month and it's going to be that pink. So it really pops, makes that group really feel valued, really a partner with the organization, right? Like in sports ticket sales, we're selling experiences, we're selling this opportunity to all get together, and then we send them this bland link that has a promo code with their name. Now we're sending out this link that's got their colors, a video explaining what Leader Dogs for the Blind is for their Detroit Tigers fundraiser. So it really does matter when you think about what groups you want to work with and why they want to work with you.
So I think you've raised a bunch of good points, and what I want to make sure that we can get as tactical as possible, especially for the reps that are listening here. What would you say? So I'm a big believer that group sales, especially when it's done through a link or something like Fivo, momentum is critical. How you start that group is really, really important. What would you say for someone using Fivo and working with a group? What are some best practices you've seen to be able to make sure that within that first 24 or 48 hours, you're seeing people make commitments to going forward with the product?
I think it's so critical to own the relationship, right? Like this is a tool that's going to help you grow your sales, capture more data, make people more likely to buy, to grow the initiative. But the key thing here is it's not a rep replacement. If it was a rep replacement, I wouldn't be on this podcast. I wouldn't be training around the country to 300 plus partners, meeting with sales reps. This is the opportunity to have the real fertilizer to the seed of their idea. So you've got this idea of doing an alumni association offer. Here's the way that you're going to be able to grow that. It can live on the website of South Carolina Alumni Association for their event coming up, but it can also, with that, be a one, make sure that you lay out the benefits. Hey, everyone's going to be able to sit together, buy, share with the people that you want to sit with. So strong communication to the group leader, to the internal champion on how this link is going to work, because it's a little bit different than they might have experienced in the past. Here's a way that all the money is collected in one place, all the funds are raised in one place, all the seating, ticket distribution done in one place. No more chasing people down. You're able to sit with the people you invite. And I think the key also with momentum is not just the strong communication to the group leader or internal champion, but the follow up, the go to market plan. Are they going to post on Facebook for their group? When and how often? Are they going to post in the newsletter? When and how often? Are they going to allow you to come to their monthly meeting or their quarterly meeting to talk about it, to get them excited about their event? And now, as people buy, you have access to that live data. How are you reaching out and engaging with those buyers? Are you emailing them every Friday while you're waiting for your morning coffee saying, hey, I'm Brett, your contact at XYZ team. Thanks for buying a ticket to this upcoming event. Don't forget to invite friends, family, coworkers, and really make it your night. So I'd
Yeah.
say that there are definitely a couple of key elements to make sure that you have success. Building that great relationship with your contact, your group leader, internal champion, strong follow up, and then making sure to really have that follow up with the buyers directly that come from that group. So you get referrals, you get more purchases, and you can hit them with a buyback offer to come to multiple games.
That's awesome. And one of the lines that you said there that I wrote down that I really loved was they still have to own the relationship, because at the end of the day, if there's no real strategy or execution behind getting this out, then unfortunately, people kind of becomes a sexier group link. Is that fair?
Yeah, and I think something that you'll hear from all of us at FIVO is that it's not just a pray and spray like you might have done with a promo code link in the past where you send it out and say, oh, I hope it works. This is something that you need to follow up with, that you get analytics from us on how many people land on the page, how many people click by, how many people chose a section. So you're going to be able to hold your group leader accountable to how they're promoting it, when they're promoting it. And I know that consultant or being really good at consulting with your partners or with your group leaders is kind of a buzzword in sales. But most of the time, reps are just money collectors. Hey, how many tickets did you sell? Can we sell more tickets? Now you have the opportunity to say, hey, 100 people viewed the page. We talked about how you think 50 or so tickets are going to sell from this offer. Even from the best conversion rates, we're going to need to see 300 or 400 page views to get 50 tickets sold. How are you promoting this? When is the next promotion? How else can I help you get the word out for your event?
Yeah, that's huge. And I think one of the things that really struck me from being at the incredible FIVO Fest was, the idea that I heard around the day that this really is digital marketing in a lot of ways. It's not just group sales, it really is digital marketing. So, for those reps that have access to FIVO or a product like FIVO, what are some things that they should understand about digital marketing that will help them sell that group just beyond the relationship and the communication?
Thinking like a marketer is probably the biggest piece of advice that I could give a group rep for executing with digital sales, with links, with kind of this new, more social selling world where LinkedIn and Facebook and Twitter is a way to sell. I think certainly the key elements are having a clear and concise message that's easy to understand, easy to push. Hey, we've got this link set up so that you can easily buy your tickets, share with the people most important to you, get the group growing easily. It's going to work easily on your phone, on your mobile device, etc. Like being able to communicate that properly, being able to have nice images, logos, making sure to work with your marketing team to have 2 to 3 really good player images or a pump up video that gets people hype about the event. And I think really the strong follow up from a marketing side of things, I don't know about you, but I get about 50 emails every Tuesday morning from everywhere that I've ever bought something on the internet. Digital marketing is about a strong follow up and about a reason to open the email or check out the upcoming offering. So, what are you doing, or what are you saying, or what are you communicating to get people excited about coming out to the event or getting more people to it? Again, you're owning that relationship with your buyers and your group leader. You want to make sure to keep promoting this event or events that are coming up to get people to come into your stadium or arena.
Yeah, that's really awesome. Changing gears just a little bit on this, because I'm sure this is part of the reason that people are showing up to this podcast. What are some of the groups that you've seen, whether you were selling them or that since you've been at FIVO that you've been able to voyeur that you were like, there's no way that are going to work, that absolutely exploded, and why? Why did they explode? Like, what went right to get that group that you were like, no way, to hit heights that nobody thought were possible?
I think the super gated offers, like let's say a health system offer. So UCLA Health allows for doctors, nurses, people involved in the hospital system to get a discounted ticket or 2 discounted tickets to a basketball game during the season. And when you gate an offer so that you have to have a at uclahealth.edu email, it leads to a little bit less sharing. It's a little bit more exclusive offer. But what we found instead was this was the perfect opportunity to remind all of your colleagues, all your coworkers to come out to the event with you. So all of a sudden, what we thought was just going to be, hey, people are going to buy their 2 tickets and be done. So it's going to be a bunch of 2 ticket buyers similar to a promo code, turned into the MRI department is bringing out 26 people to the event and coming together, sitting in the same area. A bunch of nurses are coming out together. Orthopedic surgery is coming together. And all of a sudden, what you would see is just a bunch of people buying their 2 tickets as part of being an organization turned into over 25 groups of 10 plus people that are future group opportunities, that are future chances to get some season ticket holders, and in a, in this case, affluent profession where they probably could buy basketball season tickets, football season tickets, and any other kind of tickets you're looking to sell.
That's a pretty awesome one. And so, how would you stoke competitiveness within a group like that if you were a group salesperson? So, I think sometimes those are some of the groups that I've seen that are the best when there's some level of competitiveness that happens within that group.
Every team, every school is going to be a little bit different in their resourcing to really move the needle. And I understand that budgets are different. There's various constraints on who owns an arena or stadium. But we certainly see that the experiential benefits or rewards really do create hype and buzz that can take your sales to the next level. So, for example, taking a picture on the ice after a game, or taking a penalty shot after the game, or shooting a free throw, even a tour of an arena or stadium on a non-game day for the group that sells the most tickets has really, really seen that uptick. And on FIVO, there is a scoreboard. You can see all the groups, how many tickets each group sold. So you have a live scoreboard similar to a sales scoreboard, where you know what the biggest group is. It kind of drives you to not want to be part of the smallest group, makes you want to send it to more friends, family, coworkers, get them to join you. But I would say that some of those experiences that may not cost anything to the organization, again, understanding there's some restrictions, really do move the needle in terms of getting people in a competitive or more competitive mood. I think the other thing is swag, right? Like, people will jump over balconies, will attack each other for the t-shirt gun or the hat throw or whatever your stadium or arena might be doing to promote some item or another. So certainly, hey, if your group gets to 100 tickets, everybody's going to get a t-shirt, or your group gets to 50 tickets, everybody's going to get a hat. Instead of having to jump or attack somebody that's sitting near you for that item, or hope that the cheerleaders come and throw that t-shirt near your section, you're going to guarantee that when your group hits a certain threshold.
So I know this is super putting you on the spot, and so you can feel free to back down. But I think everything that you just talked about is so important. I talk about having a hook to your event all the time. Like, you need to find a way to convince those people that aren't necessarily fans of your sport that this is a good use of their time and a good use of their money. So whether that is merchandise or that is experiences, I believe the hook is a critical part of group sales. What percentage would you say, when you see an experience or you see swag on it, what would you say? And again, you probably have the best view into this of anyone. What percent would you say that those groups do better than more traditional link groups?
I think that conservatively, we see 2 to 3 times more tickets sold for an offer that has a hook. And again, the hook can be about engaging a new set of fans. So yoga on the field or yoga on the ice, engaging a group of people that aren't necessarily your traditional fans. I'm super impressed with seeing how successful those offers are, and super encouraging of driving sales offers that loop in new people. I mean, there's a Stranger Things set of nights for the MLB, and we saw hundreds of tickets move within minutes for the Tampa Bay Rays. And that's a t-shirt that's got one of the characters on it, living native to the Tampa Bay Rays website. So I think certainly the swag or the experience item definitely engages other groups of people that don't traditionally just come to any of your sporting events. And we see that 2 to 3 time lift in those experiential or swag benefits for ticket sales.
That's crazy. And I really hope every rep hears that, because, I mean, theoretically, if you're able to do that with a specific amount of groups that have real growth potential every single year, I mean, that's such a substantial raise in the amount of money that you are able to make, even just personally, not just for your team. by doing something that takes a little bit of effort that has such a huge end result.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's getting to take that effort, getting to understand that, and getting to push people towards that. That's really it's really important. Now, what was your favorite group you've ever sold? Going back to your days, or favorite group when you were at the Bruins that you managed. What was just one of your favorite groups that stand out? Because I always think that being able to tell these stories is a huge part of group sales, and just how rewarding group sales can be when you put the time and effort into it.
When I was at the Yankees, we went from being a inbound business for groups where it was kind of an afterthought. We were focused on season tickets and didn't have a dedicated group sales department. Me, Josh Rose, Jamie Hernandez, Mark Cormack started the first outbound group sales department. Shortly thereafter, the current manager of group sales, Dave Salomon, also joined us, and a couple of other people. One of the core, to me, groups that always wants to engage people, always wants to be involved, is alumni associations. I get University of Virginia alumni emails at least once a week, if not twice a week, still to this day. And so during the summer, when it's harder to get in front of people, when it's harder to get a group of people together because you don't have a football game or a basketball game to have a watch party for, alumni associations are always looking to do something. And so I set about really trying to build an alumni program, and I use the off season in a very wise way. I know where most Penn State alum are going to be on Saturday during the fall. They're going to be watching football somewhere. And so I mapped out where all the university clubs met for their watch parties every Saturday, and would spend, noon with Penn State, 3 p.m. with the Michigan club, 7 p.m. with the Florida State club, 10 p.m. with the Washington State club, buy a beer for the head of the club, talk to them about doing something in the summer or in the spring to get everybody together before the summer, have a nice alumni association outing where they could get their name on the scoreboard at Yankee Stadium. And doing that for about 12 weeks in a row in the fall during the off season yielded about 50 alumni association contacts. So I ended up selling, I want to say 40 out of 50 of them on at least 50 ticket group outings. And, now 5 years, 6 years, maybe even 7 years down the line, Dave Salomon at the New York Yankees has turned it into a co-branded hat program with a lot of those universities that I sold, 6, 7 years ago, into having like branded jerseys, branded hats, and growing it to not just 50 tickets, but 1,000 tickets for some of these alumni associations.
That's incredible. And I think alumni associations, have been historically done, but not historically maximized. And a lot of that is relationship building, but also being able to do things like the hats. That's going to play into that fandom and that appreciation. What do you think when you look at big picture categories or some of the more underutilized categories where you see reps that have really made an effort against them have success?
I think that people get blinders on about the sport that they're selling for engaging just youth sports specific to the sport they're selling. So if you're in hockey, only selling youth hockey, or basketball, only selling youth basketball. And I think there's a huge miss not trying to engage cheerleaders and spirit groups, dance groups, and then the other sports that aren't coming out. I think about swim clubs as one of them, where there is no professional swim league, right? That would probably be the Olympics if we were to be technical, but they are pretty much highly affluent, highly competitive, a lot of people that are very organized and always looking to do something fun or raising money for their next meet. Here's an opportunity for them to come to a baseball game and raise some money or awareness, or get together in the off season. Here's their opportunity to come to a hockey game and have a fun time where they're kind of bonding between meets. I think again, it's easy to think, oh, we're football. We only want to sell the youth football. They're going to be the only ones interested versus opening your horizons to say, hey, if they're highly organized and do fundraisers and get together for fun, they're a perfect group. It doesn't matter that they're a dance group or play a different sport.
Well, it would drive me crazy too, because I'd have, some of my reps that, they'd be working with, especially at the real young level, they'd be working with this association that runs soccer leagues, sure, but they also run basketball leagues and football leagues and have this gigantic database. And yet our reps only aim for getting it out to the soccer families as opposed to having it be a larger night of that individual sport. I think getting reps to think scope. They don't need all of those people from all those other sports. Yeah, soccer is the most likely to have the highest level of penetration and success, but even if you just pick up a handful of other ones, you've enhanced the group that you're selling.
100%. And most people have brothers and sisters that play other sports. My sister played volleyball, my brother played soccer, I played basketball. We're all going to be involved in a different league, but would be able to come out to multiple sporting events and bring out friends and family to all of them.
Yeah, it's huge. I think, we get so happy that we hear a yes that, we forget to push that person just to try to make sure that we understand the scope. Because one of the things I'll always tell my reps is, listen, we may understand our stadium and the resources that we have to be able to help people better, but that organization is going to know what moves people within their own organization better than we will. And if they don't, then that group was probably not going to work anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's always somebody else that you can reach out to try to get referrals if your main contact doesn't know the other people or doesn't want to give you that information.
So we've talked about some funky groups. We've talked about an interesting group that grew. We talked about a new group. What's a group that you're starting to see these days that across the board that I'm not sure that we've that even just a couple of years ago was a group that people were thinking about?
That is a great question. I would say that there are certainly a number of pub crawl type groups, or kind of not to be focusing on drinking only, but groups that kind of get together like a kickball league where yes, they play a sport together, or yes, they put together events that don't involve a game per se, but bringing them into the stadium and having them have that, be part of their experience. So, with like a pub crawl, the Chicago White Sox partner with a company, and that Sox crawl event has seen immense success, bringing out people to do a little pub crawl within the stadium before the game takes place. So you're getting some people into the stadium early, but also getting some people that may have been just going around downtown Chicago, kind of grabbing beers, socializing, and turning it into a social event at a baseball stadium. I think we've certainly seen some things like cornhole tournaments, and dog walks, like dog walk 1Ks, that kind of engage a group of people that wouldn't typically come out to a sporting event, and bringing them into your sporting event as part of that cornhole tournament in the parking lot, or as part of that walking around the stadium with your dog and getting a co-branded dog collar.
I love that stuff. And what we're finding more and more in every piece of research you'll ever see, is millennials need something that's experiential, and they want to be a part of something that they believe is experiential. And in a lot of ways, they see baseball games, basketball games, hockey games as a more traditional thing and not nearly as experiential as it actually is. So if you can capture that spirit of making it an experience, but doing it at a professional sporting event, I think those are things that really do break through and engage what we found to be a somewhat difficult market to sell to.
Yeah, I mean, we see, I think, in a like kind of piece on millennials and the experience economy. It's something like 80% of millennials would choose to spend money on an experience rather than physical good. Three-quarters of them fear missing out or have FOMO, and they're expending more on experiences than ever before. Last night, I was at the Nashville Sounds game at First Tennessee Park, and there were no less than 1,000 people at the bar in right field, most with their back turned to the game, because it was a big, hey, get a $3 tall boy, come socialize, hang out. There's cornhole, there's putt putt, there's throw a fast pitch. So it's really about the experience, and there's also a sporting event when it comes to engaging some of these millennials for various initiatives to sell to them for these stadiums and arenas.
And you got to try, right? I think that's the biggest thing. Is I think one of the things I love about especially FIVO is it allows reps to really swing the bat in a more, and I would keep going back to the word, but I know when I made the decision to go to FIVO when I was at the Houston Dynamo, it's just a sexier product, and it allows the reps to actually swing the bat with a little bit more confidence, knowing that the event is going to look like it should, and it isn't going to end up being a distorted logo that someone who wasn't even a part of the sales process put together for that organization.
For sure. And I think it allows people to try out new sales initiatives. Obviously, if there's no previous year's number, there's no telling what the success is actually going to be on a new offer when you're engaging fans or a group of people that have never come before. But we've seen some real incredible success stories. Jeremy at the Charlotte Checkers created a Harry Potter night for the first time, and they saw a ton of success. They even got an owl that you could take a picture with. And that's the kind of thing that you wouldn't necessarily be able to just have a promo code and send it out to people and have it be successful, but it engaged a group of people on Facebook, on Twitter, was able to kind of penetrate a group of people that don't typically come out to hockey in North Carolina.
And because of that social component, having people be able to tell their friends, hey, check this out, like this actually looks pretty cool, with just a couple clicks of the button, and not having to do it, via phone or the next time they see them at the bar when that excitement's dissipated a little bit.
Yeah.
So here's a question that I really want to end on, and I think one of the things that, and this is absolutely sucking up to you guys a little bit, but is the truth. I think one of the things that stood out to myself and the person who was evaluating this product when we were going through the process of choosing who to work with was just how incredible the customer service on FIVO's end was, and the quick to response and the willingness to not just work with vice presidents, but also to work with individual sales reps. So can you talk a look at it? And I think it's something that, I know Chris Spano wrote a great article for the website on this that I would suggest everybody read. But, can you talk about some of those customer service principles that you guys use and that you guys talk about every single day, and how that can cross over, to sales reps who are working for that first time?
Inbox zero is super important at FIVO, and I think should be for most people's lives, on making sure that within 24 hours at most, you're responded to and have the actual contact information of the people that you work with. At FIVO, you're going to have my cell phone number. You're going to have the cell phone numbers of a number of solution team members, a number of additional success partner development. Like, you'll have a couple of contacts at FIVO. You'll have our direct cell phone. Everybody lives on their phone. You can text, you can call, you can email. You're going to get a response in a quick way. And I think in this day and age where, one click to get a car to show up at your door, one click for delivering something from Amazon within the next 2 hours. We live in a instant gratification world. And if you're not responding quickly and able to help right away, then you're just another company that doesn't have good customer service. So I think from the rep side of things, being able to respond in a quick way, whether it's to voicemails, whether it's to emails. Obviously, I understand some safety concerns on giving out your cell phone number, but for certain clients that are extremely high value or have the ability to drive a lot of revenue for you, allowing them to have that cell phone number to reach out if they need something right away, to build that kind of understanding with the people you work with that you're going to respond in a quick way, that you're there for them when a lot of things online, there is no phone number to call. The email is more generic, sales at that company or support at that company. I've got Doug at Fivo.com. You email me, you're going to get a response. You've got my cell phone. You text me, I'm going to text you back. So I appreciate you saying that the customer service has been so good in your experience, and we really pride ourselves on that. I think to even take that a step further, not just with response time and knowing a lot of people at the company so that you feel like you matter, but I think best practice sharing, giving you a value add every month or even every week if possible. Like, we're all about best practice sharing. We have over 300 partners across all major sports leagues, colleges, festivals. If something's working in Louisville or in Kansas City or in San Jose, I'm going to share with you. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. We're trying to help you drive revenue. And if you want to be put in touch with that rep at Circuit of the Americas that had a great opportunity or a great idea that sold well, we're all about putting you in direct touch with those people. So I think in addition to that quick response time, being good at customer service, it's sharing best practices, getting people connected within the industry that just helps everybody sell more tickets.
Yeah, and get that invitation to FIVO Fest because it's very, very well worth the time. So, Doug, I really appreciate you jumping on the podcast. Where can they find out more information about you and about FIVO? I know you've already given out your email already, but where else can they find some more information?
You could always go to Fivo.com. You can always reach out to me at Doug at Fivo.com. You can follow me on Twitter at FivoDoug to see some of the best practices from some of our partners that do a good job kind of promoting on social media. But yeah, please reach out. Happy to talk to you about best practices and see if it makes sense to partner together.
Awesome. Well, listen, I can't imagine any group sales rep would not want to listen to this podcast. Appreciate the openness with the information, and certainly appreciate the time. I know you're on the road today.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me.